Hi to everyone. I am Dr. VNS Venkateswarao, working as an Associate Professor from the Department of Chemistry in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So today I would like to give the topic on the liquid fuels, which involves the mainly the example of liquid fuels, nothing but petroleum, and its refining. Refining is nothing but purification. So before starting the topic, first we see what are the contents involved in today's section. So first of all, we see introduction to the liquid fuels. Next, we see origin of the petroleum. Next, we see classification of the crude oil. Next, refining. Refining is nothing but purification of a petrol. So first of all, we see introduction to the liquid fuels. So what are the examples for the liquid fuels? Nothing but petroleum. So petroleum is nothing but a which is available in the earth crust. That's why it is called petroleum. So petro means rock, oleum means oil. That means the oil is obtained from a rock. So that is called as a petroleum. So petroleum is one of the best primary liquid fuel. So it is also known as a crude oil. That means petrol, diesel, kerosene are main liquid fuels. That means they are secondary liquid fuels derived from petroleum. So these fuels are used for domestic works, auto vehicles, and power generation. That means the word meaning of the petroleum is rock oil. Petro means rock, oleum means oil. So the examples for a liquid fuels nothing but petrol, diesel, and kerosene. So petroleum is a dark brown viscous liquid, and petroleum is a mineral found deep in the earth crust. So it is a mixture of number of hydrocarbons, nothing but paraffins, olefins, aromatics, and naphthalene. And nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen containing optically active compounds along with the traces amounts of the compounds of the heavy metals such as iron, cobalt, nickel, and vanadium. That means the unpleasant odor of the petroleum is due to the presence of the falling smell of the sulfur compounds. That means mainly this petrol contains the paraffins, olefins, and aromatic compounds and naphthalene. That means it involves both the aliphatic and aromatic compounds. And trace amounts of nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen contains. And also the heavy metals, nothing but iron, cobalt, nickel, and vanadium. So all these four elements belongs to the 3D transition series elements. That means first transition series. So these are belongs to 3D block present in periodic table. Okay, and because of the sulfur presence, it gives some falling film. That means unwanted smell. And these two theories are explained to origin of a petroleum. So the origin of the petroleum is based on the two theories. One is carbide theory and the second one is the Engler's theory. First you see carbide theory. So this theory is also called as inorganic theory or Mendeleev's theory. That means metals inside the earth react with carbon and form metal carbides. That means these carbides are converted into hydrocarbons in the presence of moisture or steam, which on further hydrogenation polymerized to give a complex mixture of paraffins, olefins, and aromatic hydrocarbons. That means initially the metals reacts with the carbon present in the earth crust to form metal carbides, and this metal carbides undergoes hydrogenation to give complex mixture. So that is nothing but both aliphatic and aromatic components of a petroleum. And what are the drawbacks of this theory? This theory was unable to explain the presence of nitrogen, sulfur, and optically active compounds found in the petroleum. So that is the main drawback of this carbide theory. But the second advanced theory, Engler's theory, explain all the defects coming out from a carbide theory. Now let us see Engler's theory. So, according to this theory, organic matters, animals, vegetation, and marine animals died and accumulated in the sea. That means there are decomposed under high temperature and pressure by anaerobic bacteria. Anaerobic means absence of the oxygen. So, to give a dark viscous liquid called as petroleum. So, this theory is better accepted, and the presence of optically active compounds in the petroleum favors the Engler's theory. So, this is very important to explain the origin of the petroleum by Engler's theory, and it's overcome the drawbacks of the carbide theory. And now we see classification of the crude oil. So there are mainly three types of the classification. The first one is paraffinic base, second one is the asphaltic base, and third one is the mixed base. Now we see individually. First one, paraffinic base. It has main saturated hydrocarbons. Nothing but what is the formula? CnH 2n plus 2. That means alkanes. Where n is equal to starts from 1 to 35. That means along with the naphthalene and aromatic hydrocarbons from C18H38 to C35H72 are solids and are called as a waxes. And the second one is nothing but a asphaltic base type of the crude oil. It has mainly naphthalene and cycloparaffins with a small quantity of aromatic and saturated hydrocarbons. So these oils on distillation leave asphalt as a residue and mixed base type. So this type involves both paraffinic and asphaltic base. That means this type of the crude oil is a mixture of about two, nothing but paraffinic base type and asphaltic base, and it has high percentage of the semi-solid waxes. That means in paraffinic base, mainly we observe the saturated hydrocarbons. That means especially alkanes. That means CnH2n plus 2, and that alkane starts from C18 to C35. That's why they are present in solids called as waxes. And in second type, asphaltic base, that means mainly we observe the naphthalene and cycloparaffins. That means the structure of the petroleum is nothing but aromatic structure, and these are bonds with flame. Aromatic compounds bonds with flame. Aliphatic compounds bonds without a flame. That is the difference between the aromatic and aliphatic petroleum compounds. And finally, nothing but mixed weight. It involves the both the aliphatic and aromatic base. That means paraffinic base and asphaltic base. That means it has a high percentage of the semi-solid waxes. So after that, we see one of the important process, nothing but refining. So what is the meaning of the refining? Refining is nothing but a purification of a petrol. So refining can be defined as the process by which petroleum is made free from impurities and a division of the petroleum in different fractions having different boiling points and their further treatment to impact specific properties. That means the refining of the petroleum is done in different stages. So first one, removal of the solid impurities, and second one, removal of the water by Carter's method, and the third one, removal of the harmful impurities, and fourth one, fractional distillation. So these are the totally four steps involved in the refining of the petroleum. So first we see removal of the solid impurities. That means the crude oil is a mixture of solid, liquid and gaseous substances. That means these are allowed to stand undisturbed for some time. That means when the heavy solid particles settle down and gases are evaporate. That means with respect to the gravitational force of the earth, the heavy solid particles are settled down. That means the soapernant liquid is then centrifugated wherein the solids get removed. That means this is the removal of the solid impurities with the help of the gravitational force of the earth in a large tanks. And second one, removal of the water, nothing but Cartel's method. So the crude oil emulsion of the oil obtained from the earth crust is in the form of a stable and brine solution. That means this mixture, when passed between the two highly charged electrodes, will destroy the emulsion films and the colloidal water droplets cool escape into bigger drops and get separated out from the oil. So that means this is the removal of the water by using a electrolysis process. That means which contains highly charged electrodes. And the third one, nothing but removal of harmful impurities. That means in order to remove sulfur compounds in the crude oil, it is treated with copper oxide. When it is treated with copper oxide, it produces a precipitate of copper sulfide. So that means, and that precipitate can be removed by the filtration process. And also very important, another harmful impurity is nothing but electrolytes. So electrolytes like sodium chloride and magnesium chloride is present in the petroleum. What happens, which corrode the equipment of the engine. So it is very important to remove the salts like sodium chloride and magnesium chloride. Why? Because the presence of the sodium chloride and magnesium chloride will be directly proportional to the process of the corrosion. So that's why the substances like sodium chloride and magnesium chloride present will corrode the refining of the equipment and result in the scale formation. That means these can be removed by techniques like electrical desalting and dehydration process. And final stage, nothing but fractional distillation. So the fractional distillation involves the heating of the crude oil around 400 degrees centigrade in an iron retarder, produces hot vapor which is allowed to pass through the fractionating column. So it is a tall cylindrical tower containing a number of horizontal stainless steel trays at short distances and is provided with a small chimney covered with loose cap. That means as the vapors go up, they get cooled gradually and fractional condensation takes place. Higher the boiling fraction condenses first, later the lowering boiling fractions. Now we see the diagram. So at left side, crude oil is taken and heated above 400 degrees centigrade and fractionating column with the bubble caps. That means there is a horizontal trays which are separated out various fractions of a crude oil. So initially you get flamed and condensed gases. After that petroleum ether, next petrol, next naphtha, next kerosene, next diesel oil, and that we get heavy oils. So finally bitumen. Now we see what are the applications of these various fractions obtained from a crude oil. So these are the applications. So first of all, we see that crude oil is heated above 400 degrees centigrade, and this is called fractionating tower, and these are called as a horizontal trays. So initially at 20 degrees centigrade refinery gas is obtained and used as a fuel for domestic purpose. And second one, petrol is obtained at 70 degrees centigrade. It is used for transportation purpose in cars. And next one, naphtha. Naphtha is obtained at 120 degrees centigrade. It is used to make the chemicals and useful for the chemical process in one of the laboratories. And next one, kerosene. Kerosene get at 180 degrees centigrade, and it is also used as jet fuel, paraffin for heating and lighting. And next one, diesel. Diesel obtained at 260 degrees centigrade. It is used for diesel engines, especially in old vehicles. And next one, lubricating oil. It is obtained at 300 degrees centigrade, used for cars and other machines in order to reduce the friction for the flexible movement of the machines. And the next one, fuel oil at 350 degrees centigrade. This fuel oil used for the marine vehicles like ships and factories. And final one, residue, we get bitumen, and that is also applicable for the to making roads for various transport purpose. So this is about the fractional distillation. It gives the various fractions including their applications. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.